Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Amused Jester. My name is Junior. Today, let's take a look at this Star Wars toy that I got from eBay. Loose, no box, as you can see. It's Jedi Master Indarra, I think is her name. Um, so the reason why I got this off of eBay is because I'm trying to not to spend too much money, or at least pay retail off of the Black Series. This is currently $24.95 and I got this for $19.99. So I was hoping it would go on sale, but it hasn't yet. So I just went ahead and get it from eBay. So um, in terms of the Black Series, if I can get it at a lower price, I would definitely do that as long as it's complete. I think somebody was offering this for like $14, but without her lightsaber, and I was really tempted to do that because I usually don't have them doing the lightsaber thing, but I'm thinking I want to display them like this. So I'm really glad I did decide to go ahead and grab the lightsaber, the one with the lightsaber, because as you can see, the lightsaber has a unique paint application with a copper look to it, and a lot more distinguished looking design. Um, Much better than the one that Jedi Master Soul has. Here's Jedi Master Soul, and this is hers. Oh, I didn't realize it would actually be longer. So that's interesting. So let's take a look at the face on this one. Initially, I wasn't really that impressed with this face. I don't know if it really kind of looks like Carrie-Anne Moss, but I think I'm being unfair because I still think of her as from the Matrix, so her face is a lot more sharper. But now that I've looked at, oh, there's a blemish on her nose. But now that I've looked at it, you know what? I'm actually quite impressed because when I first saw it, and I was thinking, man, this sculpt, head sculpt looks old. No offense to her, of course, everybody ages, but I'm impressed at the fact that the sculpting in this face was able to portray an older Carrie Ann Moss. I don't think these two are paint blemishes. I think they're actual paint application. So I think what I don't like is her hairstyle. And I think that might be the case with Soul as well. Now, going back to Soul over here, I did have a chance to review his facial features again in the Acolyte, and I'm actually impressed with how they were able to pull it off. Because, like I said before, when it comes to Asian faces and then it comes to female faces, they're very hard to capture because of the subtle changes in the planes of the face. And the fact that they're able to do that is very impressive. Now, as you can see, as I'm turning this face around and the play of shadows is coming out, it's a lot more impressive. So now you can see the different planes in the face, and that's actually quite well done. So I think my main complaint is the fact that yes, the expression is a bit bland, but I'm really quite happy with that, with how this has turned out. It's an actual good portrayal of an older Carrie Ann Moss. Of course, I would have liked it maybe like a secondary head sculpt with a lot more expressive face, but what we are given, I'm quite impressed. So I've gone on ahead and removed the robe, and what we see here is it's not just a plain white design on the tunic, but there's actually some sort of paint application where they've put in some sort of wash in between these crevices in the tunic. So that's good. Again, the slight added gold paint over here, the silver over there. It's again impressive. And as you can see, the wash over here in the front is now missing in the back. And I hope they don't continue to do that. I hope the reason why they did that is because the pattern changes, but no, they did it. I hope they don't pick up the nasty habit of McFarlane where they never paint the back, or they don't paint the back to save cost, um, because that's just lazy, cheap practice that I don't want to see in any of the toys. One of the reasons why I've kind of not like what's going on with McFarlane. See, that's really bad. You don't want to do that. Don't cheap out on us, Hasbro, and don't do what McFarlane is doing. We're paying money for this, and it should be fully painted in the back. If you're not gonna even paint the back, then don't bother painting the front, because it's just ugly that way. It's not. It's tolerable, but it just shows a really nasty business habit that I really don't want to see. The hair I forgot to mention the braiding, but there's some sort of color applied to, what would you call these, hair clips? That's kind of interesting, but I wish it stood out more because it tends to disappear in this hair color. The design of the figure, you can't really fault Hasbro because they're just following the design of the clothing that's given to the actor and actresses. Really nice, well done on the boots as well. Sorry to sneak in Soul over here, but I noticed that while I was watching Acolyte, I did notice that he had all these different gadgets over here, which I think in the movie has a lot more better paint application because they stood out more, and I completely not missed it, but didn't see it highlighted here in the toy because it's the coloring is just so bland. So let's take a look at the articulation on Indarra. This is gonna worry me that it's not gonna go up. Yeah, it's not gonna go up. And even though it's got a ball joint at the bottom of the neck, because of the high color over here, it basically encapsulates that ball joint, so it makes it useless. And this is basically, because this is rendered useless, all the movement is going to come from the ball joint on the heads, and as you can see, this is the usual range of movement of the head. Nothing. I mean, was that 5 degrees? I would call that nothing. Slight tilt on the head. This is okay for me when tilting like this, because we don't really, I guess we're not gonna pose our figures like twisting their head to the side, touching the shoulders. We don't kind of do that usually. Twist on the head, so that's good. The shoulder is fine. It's not really limited. You can go up like that. That's normal enough. And the elbow can go way past 90, almost 105 degrees. So that's good. Elbow twist. She has wraps around her hands, so that's kind of interesting. Now these hands, oh man, whenever they do this kind of what you call forearm sleeves, where it completely goes past the wrist part right here, it looks nice. The problem is it doesn't really matter what kind of joint they have here, if it's up and down, left to right, because that is just encapsulating it, so that point encapsulates it and restricts movement. You can still get your rotation at the very least, but that's all you're going to be able to get. There's just no way. Even if you pull it out a little bit more to grab more, there's just no way. That's disappointing, but I think, oh, and then the ball, this is really good. That's really good. Watch. Nothing again in the front, a lot more in the back. Always like that. So I think we really need to kind of think about like articulation versus design, because unfortunately because the way the Jedis are designed with the robes or the longer tunic over here, we're gonna be we're gonna have to decide where our best interest lies. Do you want an articulated figure like Leia over here with the puffy plastic, or do you want one that's just like this? And I've said before in my review, oh, why did this get dirty? I've said before in my review, what's the point of having all these articulation here when you can't even use it because this is just gonna look ugly when you do use it, versus this one that does all these articulation but it looks ugly. Anyway, going back to Indarra over here, this is another figure that does not have a thigh cut, and I don't know why they're starting to do that. She kicks off to the side almost 90 degrees, so that's good. Forward 90 degrees. Bend on the knee is a single with a 90 degree. Bend on the ankle, much better going up. Going down is not a problem with an ankle rocker. So I'm still having a problem with the robes. I'm trying to figure something out with Soul. There is a solution that I've thought about, but yeah, it's an unconventional solution, but it would work. But it would also require a lot of work. I'm also beginning to display my Jedi with, oh, see, this is going to be a problem with her. Not two-handed, but just like on guard, like, because I need to keep the sabers close by, like this would be a good pose for them. Anyway, value. So base price of 10 equaling to $19 plus tax. It ended up being $21. Now if I had bought this, currently it's at $24 at Amazon, and I got a slight discount, but it's not enough to budge the value of the figure. I'm gonna put it at 12 because I was gonna devalue it because of the face, because I really didn't think the face captured the likeness before I had received it. Now that I did receive it, it actually is pretty good. The likeness and what they were able to achieve with the Black Series faces is kind of phenomenal on this scale. I'm pretty sure they're just doing face scanning now of the actual actors and actresses and just translating it straight on. That's why they're so bland like this. So, however, because of the restriction on the wrist over here, and I know that serves more of the form rather than the function, I would notch it down a point. Actually, now that I think about it, because I don't understand why they start going this route where they remove the thigh cut. See, there's nothing in there. There is, I forgot to mention that there is a rotation on the knee. So technically, I guess that's what they're thinking. It's like, oh, you don't need a rotation in the thigh because of this one. But look at what happens though. That is an ugly joint. Anyway, because they're beginning to do this thing where they're not doing the cut in the thigh, that's a minus on the value. And oh, and I forgot, because of what they're doing here in the back where they're not painting it, I'm going to remove another value point on that one. So initially my average price is around 12, got bumped up to 13 because of the face, got bumped down to back to 12 because of the wrist, then it got bumped down to 11 because of the thigh cut being missing, and now it got bumped down to 10 because of the removal on the back. I will remove another point as an overall value because I did not get what I was expecting. Initially, and I would value this at 9. Usually, when I value something average wise and I'm happy, it's 12. If I had gotten just what I expected, for example, it would have been value of 10. How do I determine that? For example, if I had been just as I thought disappointed with the face, then and it came out disappointing, it would have been a value of 10. Re, in regards to if this had not occurred, the restriction on the wrist, if the thigh cut was still there, and if the back was painted fully, then I would say, okay, value of 10. I expected that. That's what I was expecting to figure, even with the bad face portrait. That's what I'm expecting. It's a value of 10. But there are so many things that I did not get that I was expecting to get. I was expecting to get more articulation on the wrist. I was expecting to get the thigh cut. I was expecting this to be fully painted, not like this. The fact that the portrait actually surprised me being good was a good bonus for them, but at the same time, it's not enough to offset all these negative things that should not have happened on a Black Series, because we're so used to getting these thigh cuts. See, Soul doesn't have it too. Oh yeah, see, like why can't you do that? Yes, it's ugly when you do that, but at the same time, there's function. What's uglier? Is that uglier, or is this uglier? I think this is uglier. It's more obtrusive, where this one is more. It hides it more. So I don't understand why they're doing it all of a sudden like this. So going back again, value of 9, base price 10, equaling to $21. That's with tax and everything. So it's kind of disappointing, but I decided to get her because I wanted to complete as much of the Jedi that we can that they are giving us. So, yep, that's it for my review. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.